Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel, and on this one I'm going to get a bit deep, so hopefully you're not all going to be bored rigid. If you are, I apologise, but I think this needs to be said and I think it needs to be looked at in a completely different light. I am going down a different route to everyone else now. I want to use my skills from my background and from my previous jobs and put it to what I'm doing now, which is looking at the paranormal. There's several things I'm going to talk about today and in this video, and I hope that you find it interesting. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm not saying that people's beliefs are wrong and mine are right. I'm just putting a different spin on things, because that's no bad thing in the world that we currently live in. The way I'm looking at it is, if you were looking for Loch Ness but looking in Loch Lomond, you might have all the best kit in the world, but if you're looking for the wrong thing in the wrong place, you ain't going to find what you're looking for. That's a fact, okay? You might find something else equally as interesting, but you will not find what you're looking for. Now, I'm going to get quickly onto light and look at that as an energy, and you know, how we use light and what light can do for us. And I'm going to do that by first getting onto SLS cameras. Yeah, so SLS cameras. I think I just scared a sheep. SLS cameras, okay? Light works on what's called an electromagnetic spectrum scale, okay? And that is a scale that covers everything from gamma rays, infrared. It's a scale that we know exists, we know it's proven, and it's how light works and projects itself, and in which frequency, etc., and all that. Now, obviously, I've taken apart a Kinect sensor, you know, just for my own, you know, I don't know, fun, if you want to call it that. Yeah, because there's nothing I enjoy more than sitting in a dark room and playing with electrics. But basically, a Kinect sensor works in a way where it transmits invisible near infrared light. It's also got a CMOS sensor, which it uses in conjunction with that infrared sort of beam that it produces to measure depth and therefore transfer anything it sees into a 3D image. So again, I'm not saying people are wrong for using SLS cameras. I'm not saying, you know, they shouldn't be made, they're not fun, they're not interesting, but I don't know, maybe it's my background, I don't know. And I know you guys hate it when I talk about things not working or things being false, because no one ever likes any posts I put up when I say what's going on with this. But if it isn't there, the camera will not see it, okay? That is a fact. I can do a demo if you want. I can show you how the sensors work and how the electromagnetic scale works, because you know, if you don't understand that, you'll just think I'm talking at my arse, okay? And unfortunately, the people that make them and modify them and do the software for them, they're not being completely open with people, okay? Any camera, let's forget the Kinect sensors, any camera needs visible light, okay? It needs something. I mean, if you take a full spectrum camera into a dark room without infrared or UV, it won't see anything. If it ain't there, it won't see it, okay? You put an infrared source on or a UV source, light source, then you suddenly start seeing things because the light is reflecting back into that sensor and it can then determine what it's seeing. Okay, so a Kinect sensor is designed slightly different to a camera as such, because it uses an infrared beam. Several beams shoot out and it sort of comes back, and it determines the time it takes for the light to come back and then builds a picture from that. But I don't understand how it's seeing what's not there, okay? I'm not the cleverest man in the world, but even I can't work out the logic and the science behind how a camera can see something that's not there. Any camera, forget Kinect sensors, any camera, if it's not there, it can't see it. Okay, even thermal imaging cameras basically very clever bits of kit, but they're not seeing what's not there. What they are doing is converting radiation into infrared and then building a picture over that, and basically depending on the intensity of that heat or the radiation that heat's producing, determines the colour, and that's how you get that cool sort of thing. It's not seeing what's not there, it's just using infrared and radiation to build a picture of what's there. Okay, so for any of you guys that say, well hold on, infrared sees what's not there, it doesn't. Okay, it sees what's there, but in a completely different spectrum to what you would understand. So that's what I mean. You then got to think, when you're sat at home watching the footy on a Saturday afternoon, there's not a guy on your roof, playing football, and that's going for a cable to your TV. They use ultra high frequency waves, or UHF, things like that, to send signals all around the world. Okay, you can't see it. There's no camera in the world that can see it. There's devices that will pick it up, but it can't be seen because it's an invisible frequency, an invisible wave. Okay, but that just goes to show the power that we can get from energy and how we harness it to do certain things in our everyday life. So there is some very clever technology out there are some very clever gadgets out there, and the likes of X-rays and ultrasounds and radar, that is an extremely powerful energy source, but it's man-made, or it's something that we've developed into a tool that we can use. But you've got things like, let's talk about the human body now, which is what I really want to get onto, and it's the energy that I really want to look into and the path that I'm now going to go down in my investigations. In our body, we are made up of sodium, there's potassium, there's calcium, magnesium. Every single one of them elements produce a different electrical charge, okay? And them charges work together and against each other to do different functions in our body. Okay, they also produce ions, which I'll get onto in a minute, because it's a completely different thing to where I'm going with this. But without magnesium, our bodies would be in a permanent state of contraction. Our muscles wouldn't be able to uncontract, we would die, simply put. And you do get ill if you have a magnesium deficiency. And God, that was weird. I just saw a condom packet on the floor and had Magnum come into my head. Why, I don't know. It's a Durex, soft play by the looks of it. Have you not got standards? Who brings a girl here to do, well, whatever. Off the point, let's get back on it. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, okay, is in our bodies. It's what controls the electrical impulses in our bodies, and they produce electrons and atoms. Our brain is obviously the most electrically active part of the body. It controls our nervous system and the impulses in our nervous system to do things like move our fingers. Okay, particles are not living. Okay, particles, atoms, molecules, they don't live. They don't die, they have no memory. Now, some things I've done from experience, but I've been to crematoriums, I've felt nothing, I've not seen a great deal, it's very quiet. Whereas morgues, completely different. Okay, who doesn't love an abandoned or haunted morgue? Okay. Now, I used to put a lot of that down to psychology and what our brains are telling us to do, but I don't think it is. I think when we're burnt, the molecules and things are dissipated in a different way. Okay. And then going on from that, sorry, I just had to change the battery on the camera. Going on from that, when we're buried, obviously we go to a morgue, we're in barns, things like that. As we then, our bodies break down, those elements, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, and their electronic charges they produce are then released naturally, because they exist, okay? They're not like us, they're not lucky enough to be living things, okay? So when they're released, they have no memory, they're not able to transfer to another organism, they are just there in the atmosphere. Is that what we're picking up on? Because those together will make ions. Okay, and ions play a big part as well. Positive ions, which is one form, okay, that is a molecule that has lost electrons, okay, one or more electrons in its, its process. It's lost them, it's become a positive ion. Okay, positive ions are actually quite bad for you in large enough numbers. You might have been somewhere before, and this is why I'm looking at this, because if you go somewhere and there's positive ions in the atmosphere, which can be absorbed through your skin, through breathing them in, and through your lungs, you get that feeling of, dread or emotion, irritation. You could feel headaches and things. Well, that's called positive ion poisoning. Okay, it affects your body in such a way it can affect your mood and the way you feel in yourself. Whereas negative ions are the complete opposite of that. Negative ions, which can't be produced the same way as positive ions can. Okay, negative ions are produced through evaporation or radiation. But it needs to be radiation in the sense of, I've worked in Sellafield, Hinkley Point C, as well as a BAE Military Nuclear Submarine Centre up in Cumbria. And you don't get that feeling in nuclear power plants because the radiation is different when you need to produce negative ions. Negative ions are more commonly found where there's evaporating water, so on the coastline. If you're walking on the beach, you often get that really fresh air smell, and you just feel great. It's a beautiful place to be, which also helps. Waterfalls after storms, the atmosphere is full of negative ions after things like that. And there's a lot of places now offering like plasma lamps and things, which they are claiming are negative ion production units or generators. Well, that's false, because unless there's moisture, you can't get a negative ion from just a light source. There needs to be some sort of reaction, and you won't get it from that. Negative ions are produced by things like dehumidifiers and air purifiers, because you fill your reservoir up with water, it evaporates, fills your room with negative ions, makes you feel good, makes the air smell fresh, and what a negative ion will do is it will find particles in the air, so dust, pollen, airborne pathogens, other atoms and molecules that it will attach to and make it heavier than air, making it sink down out of your airways. And negative ions also produce serotonin and things like that in the body. They make you feel happy, they make you relaxed and feel more energetic. So negative ions, I think, do play a part in what we're doing, but not in the sense of charging a room. That would be more for the positive ions or on another source. I've got 3 Tesla coils and a Jacob's ladder, and I've done a lot of research into the power and things like that, and I am going to do a video at some point with them coils and show you the effects on the atmosphere they have and also other objects. So it's not just about the energy and the power, it's the way it's distributed and it's the way it can interact with other things in the atmosphere that we need to look at. And that's why I'm looking at things like the magnesium and potassium. I think when the molecules like that can produce what they produce, there has to be something in it. Okay, and in my kit I always carry an ion meter and a multimeter that's capable of recording really small voltages. Because I think EMFs, although a very handy tool, and I'm not going to lie, when I was in St Nexon's Glen, middle of nowhere, nothing but trees, and I had responses on the EMF, it did blow me away and sort of changed the way I thought. But I'm still not 100% on EMF. I think that we're looking in the wrong direction. But again, my opinion, don't shoot the messenger. I'm allowed my opinion, I'm allowed my own thoughts, and I think the problem with today's society, scientists are too worried about growing the sheep on other sheep's backs and stem cell research and cryogenics, and it's like they're not interested in what happens to us after we die. And I think that's the problem we've got, that the industry for paranormal research is just from people that have got a passion for finding answers. And there is a big percentage out there that want to cash in on that by producing items that they claim to be a paranormal tool, putting the price up 5 or 6 times and selling it on. They don't ever put in the descriptions of that item what it is doing to get the results it gets, and that is what you've got to look for. If they are vague, if they haven't demonstrated what it does, you know, I would put that in the bracket of an entertainment device rather than a scientific or credible tool for investigating the paranormal. But again, my opinion, I have just ordered a spirit vortex, laser vortex off of Infrared, which I think I can put my spin on to really bring it out of what it can do as a tool for the paranormal. You know, it is a great bit of kit, it looks amazing, and I can't wait to get it and demonstrate it and show you what it can do. Because I'm not saying you guys are using it wrong or you've done something wrong. I just think there's ways that it can be improved. You know, bringing in some of the stuff I've just talked about to make it really effective. And that's, I think, covered all I want to cover. I am going to be going down a different route, like I say. I'm going to be looking at more natural energies rather than energies that are produced from other objects, and looking at how our bodies produce that energy and retain that energy, and we use that energy to feed off or feed the spirits that are in the room with us. But I think through research I'm doing and research I'm going to continue doing, you know, I've narrowed it down to a certain road that I'm going to take. I'm going to go on that road, I'm going to get the equipment I need, build the equipment if need be, you know, with the help of my guys at Wickham Labs. You know, I think we're on the right path now, and I'm not saying that everyone else is on the wrong path. I just want to go my own way on this and try and find out about energies, you know, and what spirits are producing or what they're feeding off, and if there's any validity in the fact that it's through our natural elements in our bodies, atoms, ions. So you guys might agree with that, you might think that's a stupid idea, you might think I'm an idiot, that's fine, whatever. I've been called worse, I haven't got time for people that want to badmouth. You know, if you want to do that, go find someone else to do it to, because I just haven't got time for it. I think anyone that picks on anyone in this community is bang out of order, because we're all doing what we love, and who cares if you don't agree with someone, you know. And there's these people that have to say it as well. Why? What are you achieving? You're not going to change that guy's, you know, thought process. He's doing what he loves, the way he loves to do it. He's not hurting you. Get over it and move on, okay? And that's exactly what I'm doing. If you don't like it, that's fine. That is your opinion, you're entitled to it, you're a human being, and no matter what, I am there, I will back you up and I will support you in what you do. If any of you guys ever need anything, you only have to ask, okay? As some of you will know, I love to give people things, and I love to be there to support people. Whether I think it's right or wrong, you always get my support, okay? That's the sort of person I am, and it's the sort of person I will always be. You badmouthing me isn't going to change that. So let's have some fun. So I've got some magnesium here, I've got some potassium here. Let's finish this video with a bit of a bang. To start off, we've got 9.5 degrees. This is magnesium here. Okay, it's as I've already mentioned, quite an important thing to have in your body. This is a magnesium rod. I'm going to use that to ignite the magnesium. This won't go up high enough, but I mean we're already at over 350 degrees. (437). It won't go any higher than that. that is currently burning at around 3,000 degrees. It is extremely hot, white hot in fact. I mean, look, it won't go any higher, it's just saying high now. A very powerful reaction, and that is a, you know, something that is naturally found in our bodies. Do you see what I mean? How it's burning white hot. So you're telling me a little bit of magnesium that can produce that sort of reaction isn't powerful enough to be something that we or spirits feed off and produce, you know, but it's not, you won't pick that up with an EMF. Get rid of that. I think that's empty, I think we're safe. So magnesium, I say it in the powder form. I use it in everyday life for various tests and experiments. You know, and it's a particle or an element that we have in our bodies and produces power and energy for us. So why wouldn't it be, you know, used in the paranormal? Why couldn't it be an energy form? You know, a bit of logic. You know, open our minds to other possibilities. Now though, we're going to look at potassium. Again, something I use every day, and something that's abundant in our bodies and produces energy and electrons. This is ignited a slightly different way with glycerin, or glycerol, whichever form you can get it in. I'm using that is antifreeze, car antifreeze. This one, however, does take a couple of minutes to go. The reaction is a lot slower than magnesium, but the effects are very similar. So now the potassium's reacting with the glycerin. And got to about 90 on that. So then guys, that's my take on energies, power and things that we are looking for. And basically the path I'm now going to go on to try and find answers for my own investigations. And as I say, I don't expect everyone to like my findings, I don't expect everyone to agree with me. In fact, it would be a really boring world if you did. However, nastiness, like I say, I won't tolerate that. And the community we build in the paranormal world is a really special one. Every hobby has people that don't agree and people that like to get behind a keyboard and know-it-alls. But you don't get a lot of that in the paranormal, which is what I really love about it. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people that do anything for anyone, and I'm one of them. You know, so it doesn't matter what your problem is. If you need anything, you can come to me, day or night. You know, all my details are up for everyone to see. You know, I've even jumped in the car and driven to Scotland to help people before. I have no limits, no limitations. I just won't tolerate people being arseholes. Yeah, I did just say that word because I'm really passionate about, you know, the niceties that this community have. And I'm not trying to call anyone out, like I say. You might think I am. I'm not. I'm just trying to get the truth. I don't want this to become all for entertainment. I want the truth to come out. I want to find answers, okay? And if me saying I don't think that works is my way of doing that, then that's my views, okay? But you put the science, you put the technology behind what we're doing, it will make things so much easier to find them answers and find the truth and shut up all them naysayers. But you're always going to get that. I mean, we know, we've been to space, allegedly. You know, we've seen the world is round, but there's still people out there that no matter how many pictures you show them, how many times we've been to space, still say it's flat. So you're always going to get that. And you can't knock that, that's their beliefs. If they want to believe that, that's fine, okay? And that's what I want to get across to you guys. We've all got our own beliefs, we've all got our own ways of doing things, and that's what makes us unique, and it needs to stay that way, okay? Just because I'm doing this, just because I'm going a different path and looking for different energies and different ways that spirits might use energy, and what happens to the energy in our bodies when we die, you know, that's my belief, and that's the way I'm going, okay? I will still use EMF, I will still possibly, you know, put together an SLS camera, you know, real decent sort of system, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stick with the evidence they produce, because I know in the back of my mind what I'm seeing may not be there, okay? So that's just me being a little bit real world, a little bit, you know, wanting to find the answers. But knowing how things work will be a big tool for anyone, okay? And having a little bit of knowledge about science and about the way buildings react under certain weather conditions, things like that, will arm you with the right tools. Okay, there's a lot of people out there that think a bit of wood creaking because the temperature in the house has dropped, that's someone walking on that particular floorboard. It's not, you know, and I'm not going to go around looking at videos saying, well, that's that, that's that, that's that, because it's not what I do, it's not what I want to do. If people want to share videos of their experience and believe it to be something that's not, or you know, put it in a different context, things like that, then that's fine, that's what they want to do. But I'm personally looking for answers, I'm looking for the truth. I'm not here for entertainment. As you can probably tell, I'm not a very entertaining person. But I do appreciate all the support and love you guys give me, the subscribers, you guys. I really would like it if you'd start liking and sharing some of my stuff, because it makes me, you know, feel great that I'm helping and I'm doing things that people are actually getting some enjoyment or some knowledge out of. So on that note, if you guys could please subscribe, I'd be really happy, and I will see you on the next video.